Death, where is your sting? Dear friends, in the Gospel taken from Mark chapter 5, verses 21 to 43, we see Jesus walking into a funeral house. There was a lot of commotion in the house. A little girl aged 12 years has just died. She is the daughter of Jairus, a leader of the synagogue. Friends and relatives were mourning her death with loud cries. As Jesus entered the house, he said, "Why are you weeping? The girl is not dead, but sleeping." Two different ways of assessing the same event. For the people, the girl is dead. For Jesus, the girl is sleeping. Jesus' understanding is met with ridicule, but in the end, Jesus proves them wrong. Jesus takes her by the hand and says, "Talitha kumi," which literally means, "Little lamb, arise." That's an affectionate and endearing way of calling a child. The child got up and began to walk around. Jesus did not see death. He saw life. He is the life giver and destroyer of death. Jesus destroyed death by his death on the cross. Paul experienced it and said in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 55 to 57, "Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ." When we enter a funeral home, what do we notice? Human grief is present in many moving and intense forms. Like Jesus at the death of Lazarus, we too are caught up in the wave of human pain, and we may even cry. But like Jesus, are we able to rise beyond it? Jesus was able. Hence he said, "Lazarus, come out." The child is not dead, but sleeping. This is the deep Christian mystery which we celebrate at our death. Paul describes it and says in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51, "But let me reveal to you a mystery. We will not all die, but we will all be transformed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye." No dead person has ever come back to tell us what death is like. Only Jesus has come back to tell us about it. But it went beyond all human calculations. Mary Magdalene and the other women who went to the tomb to anoint the body of Jesus, who had died, could not grasp it immediately. They encountered the risen Jesus and his glorious body, but Mary wanted to cling on to her old mental figure of Jesus. She was still in the grip of the power of death. Jesus had to set her free by saying, "Don't cling on to me, but go and proclaim the good news." Tagore, an Indian scholar and mystic, says, "Death is not extinguishing the light, but putting aside the lamp because the day has dawned." Many are still in the grip of the fear of death. Book of Wisdom, chapter 1, verse 13 tells us, God did not make death, and He does not delight in the death of the dying. We are fearing something which God had not made. Who makes death? Is it our brainchild? Yes, James agrees with it in his letter, chapter 1, versicle 15. Then, when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And when sin is accomplished, it brings forth death. Let us not live our life as a preparation for death, living in fear of meeting a God who welcomes us always with an embrace of unconditional love. Let us not be unconsciously given into the fear of death, the sting of death. Let us live our life today joyously in Christian faith. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. May God bless you.